Ladies and gentlemen, none other than Garvey.
Where did you find that bit on Nanjing? Also Beijing University, Beijing Yuyin Dashui. So, hi everybody. We're going to talk about something a little bit different today. I know a lot of people are really passionate about collegiate esports and high school esports in North America. I'd like to show everybody that this is actually a global initiative by Twitch Student and by many, many people around the world. So we'll start a little bit with North America, and I'm sure everybody's quite familiar. Just a couple little logos. There's, I think, 85 universities now that have varsity scholarship programs, up from 1 in end of 2014. Kurt, love you, bro. So, godfather of collegiate esports, I like to say. And now we actually are at a new stage right now, and UCI is leading the charge. We're talking about curriculums now, curriculums that wrap around an esports program, and gaming just becomes the medium. What I like to say is that esports can be the medium by doing inclusivity, diversity through collaboration. So what we try to do when we do it very well with UCI. There's a lot of the colleges that were previously up here we work with. And what we try to do is create a holistic experience for students, right? So when they're competing for their school, they need to focus on two things, right? Making the most of their educational career and representing their university at the highest possible competitive level. So maybe these students don't have the time or skill sets to, let's say, do digital graphics for their social media assets and for their Twitch team pages and channels and so on and so forth. So we asked the students to reach out to maybe the art department and get somebody from the digital media, a student from the digital media classes to come in and provide that. Maybe a social media strategy by the marketing department, maybe the business department working with the art department, the marketing department, and the esports program on branding, right, and creating a marketing deck. And I really like when I think about marketing, the marketing department coming in, because there's a lot of qualitative and quantitative data behind social media, content creation, that should be learned, and it's supposed to be this experience of what business is like when they graduate, right? Marketing decks are very important. The data inside them is very important. The business department to come on and create that storyline that kind of tells you why these numbers mean something to you. What's the vision behind all of this? So that's what we're looking for, is we're looking for these great holistic programs, inclusive, diverse, through collaboration. This is just some examples of how we work with universities. We create team pages for them, which isn't really given out at Twitch except for to professional teams that live, sleep, eat, breathe, and die by their branding and not one particular game or title or player. So it's just an aggregated place. This is Berkeley's. An aggregated place to find everything that's going on in a university, whether it's gaming or whether it's the students contributing their digital media skills, their marketing skills, what have you. And they could create these great channels to complement the gaming to create a little bit of education. Highlight what the university is teaching you. What tools are they providing you? Share that knowledge with our community. So a lot of these great colleges now have student-run workshop channels that's part of their team pages. So you might come for the gaming and see this great educational content by students for students, and really explaining how they're applying their particular discipline or education to esports. And there's a great benefit behind this as well. And we've got many, many, many students that graduated last year and didn't even look for a job. They were fielding offers from 4, 5, 6 different companies, a mix of traditional and esports companies, right? Because now when they apply themselves, they take classes, it's not a cut and dry resume, right? You have a great cover letter that you can tell a great story about what you learned in school, how it was applied specifically to entertainment in a digital medium in gaming and esports. Besides having a great storyline, how they were in class learning this great stuff, applying it specifically to their gaming program, they're also creating a portfolio. So you have this great cover letter explaining how you've sacrificed and how you've contributed, and you have a portfolio that's a proof of execution. So we have maybe 15 students recently graduated that are working full-time in great companies. A lot of you probably know Eugenia from TESPA. She's now the head of the collegiate department for Corsair, right out of school. We had 2 young ladies that worked with their universities and the Twitch student program on creating digital assets, graduated and fielded offers from several traditional media companies. So it was their choice where they wanted to go based upon their portfolio and their cover letter. So I just think that's really interesting when we think about collegiate esports. But what's going on outside of North America, Garvey? I don't know, let's see. So this is a really interesting story. We started this 3 years ago, and it's called the University Esports Masters. And this is a pan-regional event in Europe. And it's quite interesting. When we first started, there was 5 founding countries, England, France, Italy, Portugal, and Spain. The second year, Germany came on. Last year, we had the finals in Portugal. So the idea of this is that I work and sponsor each of these collegiate organizations for a 1-year tournament structure. At the end of the year, they have their finals, which we work with them as well, making sure that they have everything they need to create this great experience for students. And at the end of the year, the #1 team from each country gets flown out to a different host country each year, and they compete against each other for who the best team in all of Europe is. So last year was 6 countries. As you could see, we've grown it out quite a bit. Kevin and I went to Poland. We attended the Collegiate Esports Congress, met a lot of great politicians that had full buy-in. We had our 3rd annual International Collegiate Summit in London. We had 17 countries attend. So now we've brought on Poland, Turkey, Netherlands, and Ireland. So now it's up to 10 countries that will be competing this year, July, in the Canary Islands of Spain. So Kevin, can you play? We have a 3-minute video of last year's finals that was held in Portugal, and this was all produced by students. So this is kind of a great portfolio piece as well. And it's not so much the competitive nature, if you notice when they talk, it's about the life experience that they have. You might want some sound there, Chief. Can you make that a little louder for everybody? Oh, this is, gee, who's that? I don't recognize those guys. All right, we got to get our pre-roll in, guys. Somebody's got to pay my salary.
Looking at this is amazing. It's a feeling of, I can't even describe it, even though I'm a caster. It's just beautiful. And to see every team come here and have a blast just representing their own country, I think we're reaching out to something really amazing on esports.
Kevin.
This is one of my very first times casting in a studio environment, and it's been, honestly, it's been amazing. I mean, as you can see, the studio here looks incredible, and the production guys have been in our ear letting us know what's been going on. So it's been a lot smoother than it's been in a lot of other experiences.
Even meeting new people, new cultures, it's completely awesome for college guys.
I absolutely love it. I can't stress how much I've enjoyed playing here at Portugal. Flying into a new country I've never been to before in Europe, just experiencing the Portuguese culture, meeting new people, beautiful studio here, amazing on-stage experience with Twitch. I mean, sick t-shirts, it's just everything, the whole bundle. Absolutely love it. I couldn't ask for more, honestly.
It's great. It's so much bigger than we ever expected.
This is the biggest stage I've been in, for the viewers, for the sponsors, for everything.
The University Esports Masters is invaluable for students. It gives them a medium to express themselves. It gives them real practical experience.
I think the purpose of the UM Masters is really clear, is to give this space to players that want to study and compete. So I think this is the perfect space to do so.
It's been an amazing experience.
We travel, we communicate to other countries, we learn about him.
Starting from the university league in our country and ending up on the university masters is of course very good. It's a feel of accomplishment and all the team is very happy and we're ready to win this.
So the Portuguese team was not joking. They've won 3 years in a row, hands down. And I guarantee you they would probably beat half of the LCS teams in North America and probably 80% of the teams in the EU LCS right now. Really hardcore, really good. Hey, Matt. So yeah, this year is going to be even bigger and better. Again, 11 countries all coming together, share culture, share stories, meet colleagues from around the world, and experience this industry for what it is, a global industry, opportunities everywhere. If you have the heart to travel a little bit, open your heart and mind to them, they will do the same for you. So it's not just Europe, right? That was an easy extension for Twitch. Our second headquarters was in London. So I've been working with the National University Esports League in England for about 6 years now. And they're really dedicated. They have a great program. And they introduced me to the rest of the teams as they created in Europe. And now I'm helping them grow as much as I can. So it's not only in Europe. We do a lot of great work in South America. We started with Brazil. There's a really great tournament organizer named Tuez that's doing fantastic work. And Kevin and I are actually working through them with about 17 unique universities in Brazil, and we've brought the Twitch student program to those universities to empower those universities, give them a nice consistent program with continuity so the Tuez can grow and they can become more competitive each year. And that's really what our program is designed to do, is make universities have a great consistent program that has continuity and a lot of opportunity. So this is Tuez. They work with every university in Brazil that has an esports club or program. And Kevin and I had the great pleasure of going to Brazil last year and witnessing the passion of their fans with the finals. Kev, can you play that quick video? This one isn't long, is it? Hope somebody speaks Portuguese here, because I do not. Yeah, come on. You should have logged in. Steve would be happy right now. We're game. Yo, Brazil is nuts, by the way. The community is second to none. an amazing experience. I said second to none the community in Brazil with their passion and how loud they get. It's actually a very close tie between them and in Turkey. The Turkish community is absolutely amazing, super, super passionate, and we're really, really happy to have them part of the UEM this year. But with Brazil, it's interesting. What we're trying to do is we're supporting Brazil and some other tournament organizers to create another pan-regional event. So we've expanded to Colombia and Peru. So in July of this year, there'll be the first smaller event between 3 countries to get a #1 team for all of South America. We'll be expanding out to Argentina, Ecuador, Mexico, and we try to group South America with Latin America. There's really only Brazil that speaks Portuguese. So yeah, that's really where we're going, and I'm hoping to work with Inven Global in Korea and get something going by the end of the year in Asia. I know there's a great, great collegiate scene. My friends in Tencent told me that when they launched their collegiate program last year, they had 800,000 signups in one day. Right? So we'd really like to get a pan-regional tournament out there. So next year, I can contribute a little bit more and organize a international competition with just the #1 teams from each region, pan-regional to international. Looking to host it myself next year. Hopefully, right? Teaser, maybe TwitchCon, we'll see. Yeah, I mean, it's worth it. The Twitch and Amazon absolutely have 100% buy-in and support in students. It's really the future community, content creators, players, employees, employers, thought leaders, and vision holders, and I really believe that. So does Twitch, so does Amazon. And there's an inherent benefit in working with students as well. In America, we only have a 31% STEM enrollment rate with a 61% attrition rate. So last I read, I think the last government white paper was 3 years ago, we're globally ranked 46. In terms of STEM education. 85% of the jobs that's available in this industry is STEM or STEAM related. Twitch has 136 job listings up as we speak, and most of them have been up for several months. Why? We just can't find the appropriate talent, and we've been robbing from Peter to pay Paul. So we take from the developers, Uber and Facebook takes from us, and Big Daddy Amazon takes what they like. Like, seriously, straight up. But is that because these people are the most talented and the most passionate in the world? Absolutely not. We have such a shallow hiring field. But meanwhile, we did polls in North America, England, and Europe. 75% of students that participate in esports in universities are STEM and STEAM related, that now see a light at the end of the tunnel and where they can apply their discipline with passion and vigor into a brand new industry that has nothing but opportunities for young people. So that's really a part of what Twitch Student Program is to educate the industry about the potential and the contributions that students have made. And it's not even a proof of concept, we have proof of executions that I go climb to the top of the buildings and I scream it at the top of my lungs. There's great talent, incredible passion, and they want to work, and they want to work hard. So I think that was last. Thank you. So Don, come up here, brother Don. Let's have a little powwow. Powwow. Shall we sit? Shall we stand? Shall we?
I think if we sit, though, you guys can't see through the podium. So why don't we stand then? That's even better. That's even better. So how's everything, Garvey? Things are good?
Doing well.
All right.
Doing well. Thank you, sir.
Let me ask one big question to start with.
Sure.
Amazon took you over. What's it been like?
It's been quite amazing, actually. So Amazon bought us on the Zappo model. I don't know if you know Zappo, but it's basically we're a separate entity that's part of a bigger entity. So I don't think Amazon really understood how we went from 0 to 100 miles an hour so quickly. So it's been really nice. They've left us alone.
They leave you alone?
We have our own headquarters in San Francisco and London. We have satellite offices all over the world. But they did come in and they helped us with things because we went from a hobbyist business to a professional business rather quickly, right? So last year we had 675,000 years worth of live content consumed on our platform. We grew to 185 million people. Yeah, that's mind-boggling, right? Yeah. So the number is 355 billion. I think 675,000 years sounds a lot better.
Yes,
So yeah, but as we've grown from a hobbyist business to a professional business, they've come in and they've helped us with our weaknesses with HR, finance, legal, kind of dotting the I's and crossing the T's.
But has that been difficult at all?
No,
I mean,
I absolutely love it. And you know, you have to adapt and survive. And this is what the company needed. This is what the industry needed. This is what the community needed. The better we do as a business, the more features and tool sets we can create for the broadcaster to service the community, the happier we are.
okay, global. Inven Global is really Inven Global English because we wanted to take the professionalism and the dynamism that existed in Korea and extend it to the English language world. There was also the anticipation that at some point there's going to be Inven Global, another language. You are all over the world. What should be the next language?
So Inven Global actually attended our 3rd annual International Collegiate Conference in London. They called in remote, so I've already introduced them to all the tournament organizers in Europe and Brazil. So I would say, yeah, you can't think one other language. Like that's
You have to think what other
think
language.
big.
Okay, but give me, what would be the next language?
French, Italian, Portuguese, Spanish.
Italian.
Italian, yeah, we have a great, so, I forgot to mention, so.
We're too busy making love
Yep.
to play video games. Should it be Portuguese? Should we focus on?
Why am I even here now?
No, what about you haven't mentioned Mandarin. What about China?
So, I have to do my due diligence in Europe, so I know there was the ICC last year. I'm not very familiar with what's going on in mainland China. So I lived in mainland China for a while. I actually taught at the 3rd best college in China, Nanjing University, Nanjing Dashi. I taught business and effective communication for 2 years. But I was too busy working on the beginnings of the professional scene out there. There was no collegiate space. That's a very recent thing, maybe in the last 2 years. So as I get out to Asia, I'm only speaking about what I'm very confident talking about, and Spanish and Portuguese, and you can't just...
So every language.
Yeah.
Esperanto?
You gotta do it big.
Okay.
Yeah, I don't know about that one.
All right. We've got such a great group here that I feel like, I'm not gonna hog you. You've got the opportunity to ask this man anything. Let's open it for Q&A right now, because you've got to be itching to talk to him. Who's itching? Who needs to be scratched? Come on, somebody's got to be interested.
Wow. Let me scratch you. Who has a scratch?
All right,
Justin.
So you spoke a lot about the possibilities of European collegiate esports. What are the differences you see in the structure of the organization between that and current American esports, and what can American collegiate esports take from Europe?
That is...
Before you answer, I want to point something out. Justin, who came down from Eugene, Oregon to be here, is an attorney who has seen the light and has gone back and is now getting his MBA because he wants
business.
to be involved in esports. Let's give Justin a round of applause. Yes, Darby.
So I think that's a really great question. So every region has their own strengths and weaknesses. I think in North America, the growth of the varsity programs and scholarships, along with the conferences now supporting them, so the NCAA might not be ready to seriously consider what that looks like. But the conferences don't have a problem at all. So I work with Mountain West, I work with Big East, Big 12, Pac-G through University of Utah and Boise State. Just some great programs. So that's a strength. The weakness is that it's extremely fractured. And I don't like fractured because it's very hard for endemics and non-endemics to figure out who they should be speaking to and what they should be supporting, right? So that's my one little pet peeve. We have TESPA, we have NACE, National Association of Collegiate Esports. We have Riot Games running their own. We have AVGL, CSL, and you know who knows what's going to come up next year. And I don't particularly care for that. I like a strong, unified body that really knows athletics and how to kind of integrate a little bit more if that university should so choose. A lot of universities don't do it through their athletic department. A lot it's through student affairs. University of Utah has it through the engineering department. So it's really, what's most appropriate for the universities. But it's really hard, even for me to navigate. So can you imagine a brand new university program coming up and saying, okay, we have Smash, we have League, we have Rocket League, we have Overwatch, we have Hearthstone, we have StarCraft. What organization do I need to be a part of to play what game, right? So that's extremely daunting when you're thinking about creating a new program and trying to focus on your students and servicing their needs, which is what administrators' real job is, right? To service the students' needs and wants, create these great life experiences. So that's the strength and weaknesses of North America. In Europe, it's, again, strengths and weaknesses. I've made sure with working with these university tournament organizers that there's only one in each country. And the way they work with me is I give them only universities that come through these programs here have access to the full Twitch student program. Again, we want it to be as easy for students. The weakness is there's no varsity programs out there. It's all student run, especially in England. It's run by student unions and societies, right? So, and they're very against any administrator coming in and doing anything with them. So it's going to be a long haul before there's official programs, but they do have colleges like Staffordshire that's doing a full curriculum, a full undergraduate degree on esports, every aspect of esports. So I'm on the board of advisors. I'm trying to make sure it's as appropriate as possible. UCI was kind enough to make me an advisor as well for their continuing education program, which Chad, history teacher, has been an integral part of, and you've done an amazing job, really have. In Brazil, it's kind of a mix. Again, we only work with one collegiate tournament organizer there. We want that aggregation. We want it as easy as possible for students to follow their dreams and enable their passion in video games. But the universities are actually really supportive. So I think we work with about 16 universities in Brazil. And the administrators absolutely love it. They support the students fully. The school even pays for them to go on their trips to compete. But there's no varsity programs. There's some talk of curriculums now. But again, it's kind of fractured. And that's really one of the goals of the Twitch student program, is to educate each region and each country about what other people are doing. And so we could have some kind of consistency around the world, just with cultural relevance. And I think that's really important, because that's really one of my goals, is to show students that there's a wide world out there and you can apply yourself anywhere you might wish. I have a very famous saying in the industry. I always say your network is your net worth. So really go out there and experience life, go travel to different countries and talk about what your university is doing. I'd love to see one day where, and it might be next year, I don't know who might do it, but I'd like to see it prized not with scholarships for an international competition or pan-regional competition. I'd like to see it prized with study abroad programs where there's no winner or loser. Yeah, that's a 1, 2, 3, and 4. But they're all winners because they can go to the other country's school for a week or a month and just learn the culture, learn the language a little bit, eat the food, meet people, grow your network. That's my dream. Hopefully through things like this, we'll add a layer of consistency, and we can talk about in England that it's not really bad for administrators to want to support you officially, right? Brazil, they just need these proof of concepts of what's going on. And Mark Deppy has been very, very gracious. He's provided a roadmap, a document that's open to all on how the trials and tribulations and the steps he took to create this great, great program. And he allows me to share it with other universities around the world. University of Washington just came up with a great arena with the schematics and announcement for an arena that they've made public for people. These are the kind of things that once it goes public, it enables me to talk about it, because as you can imagine, I'm under severe NDAs with every university that I work with. So I cannot speak about what's going on at UCI unless it's public. So that's really interesting. Thank you for that. That was really long-winded.
Yeah. Please.
You mentioned your international competition, your international championship. Could you tell us a little bit about how you structured that, and so how teams would qualify, schools would qualify into that, and then how you structured it?
Absolutely.
Hear that?
Could you repeat the question? Sorry.
So he wanted to know about the structure for the international collegiate competition that I'd like to hold next year, and how that might be different or similar to what's going on right now. Is that about it? So what I'm trying to do is create pan-regional competitions, just like the University Esports Masters and what's going on in Brazil. All I need to do is I need to get out and I need to spend a couple months in Asia. Make sure I go to Taiwan, Japan, Korea. Vietnam has a huge community as well. Hong Kong. I mean, there's a lot of countries I need to go to, and I'd really like to work with one tournament organizer in each country. And then these pan-regional events, it'll be just like with the UEM, they'll get a number one team like Portugal, right? That's a given even this year. Portugal's going to win. And we'll get the one from South America. Right now it's Colombia, Peru, and Brazil. We're going to expand out to several more countries by the end of the year. I just need to spend a little time there and get them into the group. Same thing in Asia. We'll have a pan-regional tournament. We'll get a number one team from that region. And then for America, depending on the game title, I work with every university that has that competes and has a varsity program and stuff like that, even at a club level. It's very easy for me to say, depending on the title, go to whoever won that developer, publisher, or tournament organizer's grand finals, and just go right to them and say, I have this great opportunity for you now to represent North America. First, you have to play, UBC, right? That's the wrench in the wheel right there. So, but once we get that number one team for representing North America, I just have to bring 4 teams. I'd like to get out to Africa as well, Middle East, North Africa. That's on my Saudi Arabia, Dubai, and Abu Dhabi have extremely strong esports communities. Saudi Arabia actually really wants to start supporting at the collegiate level. So I think that's really, really cool. South Africa has a great community as well. And I haven't gotten a chance to do my due diligence on Australia because every year it's somebody else I have to talk to. And I feel like I'm on a treadmill. I need somebody to really hunker down and for me to support them. And that's what we have, financial support. We supply knowledge, tools, and support. But for the tournament organizers that are bleeding every single day, we throw a bit of financing into the mix just to make sure they have the resources to properly support students in following their dreams.
So are there any volunteers to work with Garvey on this international thing? Yeah.
Nice.
Kurt.
In your opinion, Garvey, what's the most appropriate role that publishers play in collegiate sports?
Wow. Like Kurt, really? Like Kurt, the landscape, Duke. This is like forbidden territory. Wow. So I will say I'm not very fond of publishers that restrict the free flow of creativity. There are certain publishers that are 100% engineers and are completely hands-off. I would like to say that I support that kind of model, a wide open ecosphere, as you could see with Twitch. The entire platform was done to create deliverables for people to sell against, to bring their own money in, monetize their content, and also give the ability for people to create subsections of Twitch themselves. So it's an open ecosphere with just a toolbox. And I think a game should just be like a football, right? Universal. And if an arena football league gets enough community and grows bigger than the NFL, that should be, in my opinion, I like open ecospheres, creation of opportunity for more and more people. I do like the structure, but there can be structure with kind of laissez-faire, in my opinion. So I know I answered that without actually answering it, right?
You vote for Garvey.
Michael.
So, what
question on international students, right? So recruitment is the number one pain point for varsity programs in the U.S. How do we identify students that are academically and competitively skilled enough?
Absolutely.
Qualified enough to compete? But in traditional athletics, we pull greatly from different countries all around the world to come and get their education here in the U.S. while they represent their school. With you on the international side, how do you think varsity programs here in the U.S. should go out and identify students that they want to compete here?
So how can North American universities attract international talent, right? So that's what I do. When I go to all these countries, I present very similar to what we're presenting here, but I go much more into depth into the tournament organizers and the universities that have great holistic programs. So that's one way. I think a second way is to have, again, these great pan-regional tournaments that lead to an international tournament, to give visibility into what's going on. Because these are really opportunities now for the team from Brazil to talk to, let's say, Maryville, right, when they're here, and talk about their ideas, what's going on at their universities. Trust me when I tell you, those students will go from North America back to Brazil, talk to the students in their university, they will talk to the students in their university, and then when they have these pan-regional events, they'll talk about, wow, did you see the great stuff that the UCI team told me about? Oh, you know, let's email Garvey and ask for a little more information. And we have a huge database on every single college, who's doing what where, and we just present an objective view and say, this is what's happening, and let them do their due diligence and homework. So I think that's the best way, is these international competitions. Everybody speaks English. You wouldn't believe it. Doesn't speak English, but they understand it. Some countries are more comfortable speaking it, but most countries will understand everything that's going on. So they do watch when we put Collegiate on Twitch front page, which we do quite often, right? I think that's the best way, is just go out, compete, give me ammo, because I'm out here around the world just saying what each region is doing strong and weak, and I'm very honest with that. I'm very proud and very happy to be involved with the individual universities there. And as I'm getting involved with more and more universities around the world, I do similar talks like this, and I educate people on what's going on around the world, who's doing what where. So that might be a good step. Or you could come out in July to the Canary Islands, Tenerife, and come be involved with this next UEM and just meet everybody. Or maybe next year come to my International Collegiate Conference.
I'll have to check my schedule, but I think it's open. Canary Islands, you said?
Yeah.
It's your show. Go ahead.
Yes, sir?
Can you summarize 3 of the best practices you've seen for North American universities starting esports programs?
Yeah, the number one thing is to empower students, trust the students. They know the space. They know what they need to do. They know, they're so educated on what other universities are doing. So empower the students to help create and help run the program. Boise State does an amazing job. They actually pay students to be involved in the Boise State. So we have bi-weekly Boise State stand-up meetings, Kevin and I. And the first one we had 3 deans, along with Chris Haskell, and 9 student leaders from different departments that all introduced themselves to me and what role they were going to play in the upcoming program. So it's really support the students, trust them, empower them is the first thing. The second thing is consistency, as with all things, and continuity, right? Where's the program going to be in 3 years? Where's that light at the end of the tunnel? Where would you like to be supporting students? So I think those are the 3 most important things. Financing is really hard. I understand that. Where's these spaces going to be? If I may talk about one, and I don't really like to talk about Twitch too much, but we have a great mechanic with Twitch Prime. So the way we work with universities is we give a full partnership to the official channel to university. And it's very rare. We have almost 2.5 million broadcasters, only 27,000 full partners. So I'm empowered by my executives to give a full partnership to a school that has administrator support for that continuity, right? And part of that is a subscription button. Twitch Prime gives free subs. Anybody that has an Amazon Prime has a free Twitch Prime. A full third of students have access to Amazon Prime. So there's some schools like Berkeley that have 60,000. So we could just say there's a potential of 20,000 students, which is $50,000 a month coming in from Twitch to your program by the students for the students. So that's one way we try to contribute. We have many different ways that we're trying to encourage active thinking about business when they're doing it. And we want to give them the tools to reach their potential in their campus, right? From that, they can expound when they graduate and use that as the proof of concept. But we try to help with that one difficult part. But I think the first three are much more important. Student-led, student-empowered, consistency and continuity, really.
So I have a question coming from actually not an organizational perspective, but a player perspective. I work as a coach. So here at UCL, we have players who are starting to age out of the program, like juniors and seniors who are on my team now. And my curiosity is, where do you see the role of the organizations like Twitch and other people who are trying to support the space academically in helping students with things like internships or resume builders? These are questions that I'm starting to get very often and I don't know answers to.
I'm working with many companies right now on creating internship programs. But I think as students graduate and you're looking for new recruits or players and stuff, the best service that the industry can be is to facilitate introductions to you with people that we believe and we trust and that we know is doing great work. So we have Mason. Can you stand up for a second? He runs HSEL. He works with many high schools around the country, does great work we've been working together for 3 years now. Amazing, passionate, really understands the space, and he's made it his life to prepare high school students for entry into this industry, whether it's to go to a university that has an appropriate program, or whatever they might choose to do. So,
if I could follow up, my question was for...
No, I'm kidding. Go.
It was for college students who are graduating.
Oh, so you're looking for postgraduate employment.
Basically because a lot of the students sacrifice the time they would normally spend on those things on the esports programs they're involved in.
Right. So the way
career advising.
Yeah, that's exactly
career
it.
advising.
Because
So-
many of my players, this is going to be the last time they're involved in esports.
Right. So what they need to do is they have to think about what they're going to talk about on their cover letter. What are they going to put on their portfolio? Again, these are the two most important things in this industry. We're a little bit past hiring in this industry based upon the amount of people you have in your World of Warcraft guild. A little bit past that. But if you apply yourself and your particular discipline specifically to this industry while you're competing and while you're getting this great education, I think that cover letter, that story that you can create, sending out to the appropriate people along with a portfolio on how they might have competed or what they might have contributed, that's the best thing you could do, and I will continue working very hard. Part of my job with the Twitch student program isn't only to work with administrators and students, but it's to educate the industry on the power and contributions that students have. So I'm working with many companies that created collegiate departments based on our advice and hired student leaders that Kevin and I have worked with for years. The most important thing I think is a cover letter and a portfolio, right? Cover letter for storyline, portfolio for proof of execution. So I think that's my best advice.
You spoke about the growth of collegiate esports and scholarships over the years. Looking back, was there maybe a landmark moment to where universities decided to really get all in when it comes to esports programs?
Yeah, I think if you know the law of diffusion of innovation, so administrators and universities are very risk adverse. So we're at the early adapter stage now. I think the real milestone was that handsome young man, Kurt, and the great program that he went and put his professional reputation on the line. He put passion and opportunity for students in a new industry above, maybe the risk of not performing and not creating a good program and damaging his reputation. So he made a big gamble, and that brought us into early adapters. And these proof of concepts is what we really needed to expand the comfort zone of administrators, right? Let them know that we're past the risk stage, we're at the tail end of the early adapters, and we're in that little 8 to 12% chasm that we have to leap over to be mainstream. Do we care about mainstream? Absolutely not. But if people want to put labels on it, we're in a traditional institution here. So I like to talk to administrators about the law of diffusion of innovation and let them know where we are and use great proof of concepts like RMU. Now we have some really great schools like UCI, Berkeley, Georgia State University, Boise State, University of Utah that have these great programs that share their knowledge. So I think that was a huge milestone what Kurt had accomplished. And then every college that comes in thereafter and grows their program becomes more holistic. These are all just mini milestones that we use as a proof of concept and to talking points when I go to University of Alabama or Louisiana State University and the administrators ask me. They don't have to ask my opinion now. I've got the data, I've got the proof of concept, I've got the proof of execution, so it becomes easier. And I also let administrators know their biggest fear is doing it by themselves. So working with students and working with industry insiders, we're all part of the administrative team, and we want to work together and supply anything we can. So that's what I love this, my program in particular, because it's the first time that I could identify in business and history where students, administrators, and industry insiders all come together as equals, complementing each other's strengths, minimizing weaknesses. So I think it's a great time to be alive and be a student, be an administrator, and be an industry insider. We're all working together, and that's what we'd like to do with your university. You're not in it by yourself. The students are so passionate. They're so understanding of what needs to be done. And then me and my team would be more than happy to spend a day at the university and answer any questions, remove any blockers you might have. I have all the qualitative and quantitative data behind why this is a thing and why it makes sense, along with post-graduation employment numbers, all this stuff I have. And then I'd help as much as I can, so. I didn't get too much on this side. Guy in the back.
Yeah, I have a two-part question. The footage you showed us from both Brazil and also Europe was mostly League of Legends, so it seems like, I guess going back to the language question, it seems like Portugal is the most valuable learning you can pursue, I guess, if you join esports. But are there specific games or genres of games where you notice it stood out more in that country? And is there, and I guess the second question is there room for competitive mobile games? And if so, is there a certain region where that shines?
Absolutely, right. So the first part was, you got me going in circles.
I guess the first question was, is there a certain game or genre of game?
Oh, right, okay. So it's been really difficult for some people to grasp the international nature. So I've been, you see a lot of League of Legends. I've been working with Riot since probably 2009. So I have a really great network around the world in every one of the Riot offices. So it was very easy for me to introduce the collegiate tournament organizers all around the world to their counterparts in Riot. We have TESPA now through Blizzard that we brought to last year's UEM finals and also to my International Collegiate Summit. And they're now figuring out how they can support. So it really comes down to support, right? So League has authorized the tournament organizers to use it, and they also supply a bit of resources to help them get where they want to go. So as more developers, we absolutely want to work. They have a huge Overwatch community, both in South America, Asia, and in Europe. In Europe and South America, there's a huge FIFA competition. They play mobile games as well, so they play Clash Royale in Brazil. It's part of the collegiate circuit. And they competed they sent the best teams for FIFA, League, CSGO, and Clash Royale to Portugal to play against their Portuguese counterparts. So there is room. I know Arena of Valor by Tencent is now supporting North America Collegiate in very small steps. I'm hoping to work with them to open it up a little bit more. They're also working with the tournament organizer that I work with in England. So there absolutely is room, and it really shouldn't be dictated by the tournament organizers or by the industry. It should be by what the students want to compete in. The problem is that these tournament organizers need resources beyond Twitches, and they need authorization to actually run these programs. So again, I need to educate the industry a little bit more about what collegiate really looks like. It's not just North America, like, wake up, you know? Get woke.
Okay, we have time for one more. One more.
Eeny, meeny, miny,
So, in like
I'll get you outside.
in the last like not 3 or 4 years, recently there's been not exploding. Sorry, I'll stop qualifying. There's been a growth in the academic space for game studies and for video game development programs. And I was sort of wondering what you see as the intersection of, like, in traditional sports, in NC2A programs, there's a connection between the Kines department and the athletics department. You have people on the sidelines doing Kines stuff for the athletics department. What do you see as the intersection between these developing and growing game studies programs and
This is so nuanced, right? My program and what's going on in colleges is so nuanced, but I love that you brought that up. So I'm working with game design programs with universities that allow the students to keep their IP rights when they graduate. I'm preaching 3 things. There's 3 things that's going to change this entire industry. It's going to be the next iteration of gaming. One is called stream-to-play games, and you have Unity and Lumberyard that you can make stream-to-play games where from curated content you have a passive experience. Live content, you have an active experience, but with stream-to-play games that's meant for the spectators, you remove the RNG elements of a game and give it to the crowdsourced hive mind of the community, you become an active participant. So the best example is Twitch plays Pokemon, right? So that's one. The second is games that are streamed to play that have extensions built in for optional microtransactions and also to complement the engagement, and I have great examples of what could be. And the third, Fortnite really highlighted it, cross-platform functionality is absolutely essential. I don't care what device you're on, I don't care where you are, you should be able to play with your friends anywhere you want. Now the relationship between a game design program at a school that has a varsity program, built-in playtesting. So Amazon Game Studios works very closely with UCI, and they absolutely love the students tearing their games apart and working on it. So that's what you have with a varsity program. You have inherent playtesters that are your peers and can really give it to you and be like, really? So does that answer your question? Well, I'm getting kicked off the stage. This guy's going to tackle me in about 30 seconds. I'm actually going to stay here for 35 seconds and dare him. No, I'm kidding. Done.
Let's give this man well-deserved. Good job. Good job, buddy. Now it's lunch.